Across Europe there are common challenges: sovereign debt, low economic growth, rising unemployment and severe cutbacks in public spending. Transforming public procurement offers one way of addressing these challenges. I believe that public procurement is now central to the competitiveness and economic performance of the Eurozone, which is why it needs to become an important policy goal of government. I am challenging politicians, policy advisors and senior executives across the public sector to reform public procurement as a matter of urgency. Furthermore, there is probably no other aspect of government that can unlock so much money so quickly and with such little political disagreement or social unrest. The sheer scope of public procurement in the UK comes as a big surprise to most people, so let's have a look at it. Annual UK gross domestic product for 2010-11 is calculated at £1,473 billion. Of this, public sector total expenditure is £632 billion, approximately 40% of GDP. When you add up total external supplier financial liabilities, they are £562 billion, of which annual conventional procurement spend is £243 billion, while private finance initiative liabilities are £267 billion across 650 ongoing projects. The challenge is how best to transform this £250 to £500 billion of third-party committed procurement spend. Piecemeal, simplistic, one-size-fits-all approaches simply won't work. It's not about centralising the spend, but reforming procurement and managing it in a very different way. This needs a government-wide approach and one that actively engages the full leadership community across the whole public sector. There have been quite a few studies of public procurement, from Sir Peter Gershon in 2004 to Sir Philip Green in 2010. Also, with depressing regularity, the National Audit Office and the Public Accounts Committee have reported on procurement disasters and cost overruns. This is like looking in the rear-view mirror and commenting on what has gone wrong, rather than proactively creating a forward change plan capable of transforming public procurement throughout the lifetime of this Parliament and into the next. A big problem is that traditionally public procurement has been misunderstood, undervalued, underled and under-strength. What is needed is a concerted campaign to improve and reform it. Here is our 10-point action plan for change. 1. Make it a government policy goal with publicly stated objectives and clear deliverables throughout the term of this Parliament, and then through party manifestos into the next. 2. Put much higher leadership behind it, from the Prime Minister down and with the active endorsement of permanent secretaries and chief executives. 3. Adopt a very different reform model. Move away from it being a nice to have into a must have, with high expectations, incentives for success and sanctions for failure. 4. Create annual procurement reform business plans in all of the main parts of the public sector and wherever significant money is spent. 5. Subject them to challenge, scrutiny and review by ministers, the Public Accounts Committee, the National Audit Office and the Office for Budget Responsibility. 6. Renegotiate the private finance initiative. It is unaffordable, the taxpayer has been ripped off, and there is a need for vigorous renegotiation and financial clawback. 7. Inject best practice procurement in category, supplier and project management to drive real value across the public sector's main areas of expenditure. 8. Set up a government procurement academy. Build competence and capability wherever money is spent. 9. Commit to meaningful expenditure data analysis so that everyone knows what is being spent, where and by whom. 10. Accelerate EU procedural and process simplification. Reduce by at least half the amount of time it takes to procure goods and services. This action plan is backed up in detail in our recently published report, Why Public Procurement is Central to the UK's Economic Performance and How to Transform It. I encourage you to download it and embrace the strategy plan for reform.